Hello, Jarrell from Sungrand here. I wanted to thank everyone for picking up 3 Down Stars and playing it and supporting us, sharing their feedback and whatnot. It has come to our attention that there are a number of glitches that players are finding, that some are mostly just aesthetic, and others are quite substantial and are game-breaking, and we do apologize for that. It's quite disheartening for our team because we've poured in thousands of hours of development and hundreds of hours into testing, and it's come to our attention that there are a lot more bugs that have gone through into the build that was published than we realized. And so we've looked into it, what has happened to cause all of this, which is very unfortunate. Again, we do apologize. During the last month of development, our main machine, which we were using to program and build and fine-tune the game and prepare it for publishing, that computer crashed. The hard drive died while we were backing up about a week's work of progress. And what happened was when we set up a new machine, we recovered the data from the old hard drive. Quite a bit of the data got corrupted, and we didn't realize that data had corrupted. And by the time we had reached that point in development, we were so close to the deadline, we didn't have time to play through the game again and again and again, as we had to keep making more and more adjustments, and we would keep making new builds and keep making more adjustments and fixing and fine-tuning as we were requested. And there just wasn't enough time. We didn't have enough resources, and so things that worked perfectly fine before the crash were suddenly broken. There's weird glitches in the game where there's data missing that causes crashes. There are events that loop endlessly that will get the player trapped in an event that they'll never be able to escape, and they won't be able to finish the story mode of the game. The buildings you can walk through, there's areas of the game you can fall through. And it's disheartening because we understand as a studio this is our first major title, and it makes us look like we don't know what we're doing. It makes us appear incompetent, and unfortunately we're just going to have to accept that that's the final product. At the end of the day, I'm in charge of making sure that a quality product is pushed out the door, and I really don't want to turn this into a game of excuses, but what happened is, for the last 5 weeks of development, I had a family emergency, so I had to leave the country for 5 weeks, which means that during this chaos, when there's so many things that needed to be checked, a number of things that needed to be fixed, I couldn't be there in the office, and I had very important family issues that I had to focus on, and the only work that I could do was really manage paperwork with Nintendo and prepare the publishing process, and there wasn't a whole lot I could do to make sure that there weren't game-breaking glitches. So unfortunately, I accept responsibility for that. The responsibility falls onto me. And I do apologize that the end product that we sent out to people is something that's quite broken. And as a gamer myself, I would be frustrated and I would be very irritated if I paid for a product and it was as faulty as this. So I sincerely and humbly apologize to you, and I request and ask and hope that you guys will stick with us. Since I got back to the office in the middle of December, I've been working 18 hours a day trying to get all this stuff fixed up, but after the game was pushed out the door and players are playing it, they've reported more issues to us, and these are things that I wish we had time to work on it, but the end of development was very difficult. It was very demanding. There were a lot of things that were out of our control, and we just did the best we could. So we're just going to have to take the hit. We understand that their early reviews are going to be quite negative, but we've been working our hardest to get these issues fixed up. So all the game-breaking glitches that cause problems, people will not be able to finish the story mode on the first build of the game that was published. Frontier Fighters mode at least does work, so we thank you so much for being interested in the game, and if you do want to keep playing it for the time being, we request that you try to enjoy Frontier Fighters mode instead of the story mode. And we are currently preparing our build to fix all of this stuff, and we'll be sending it through to Nintendo probably today or tomorrow. we appreciate all the feedback. We will be folding in some requests that people have made over social media to sort of fine-tune and cater the experience of the game to just be a bit smoother and more streamlined. So thank you very much for your understanding. We realize this sucks, but we've done the best we can, and we're going to keep doing the best we can. But personal issues happen, and technical emergencies happen. So we thank you for understanding, and we hope you'll stick with us, because we have a lot planned for 3 Down Stars. We have even more planned for our future games. Now that 3 Down Stars has launched, we would like to make some announcements about our future games as well. We have the 4 upcoming exclusive 3DS games, and we hope that we can make announcements about some Switch titles that we have in development that are in the 3 Down Stars series that have strong connections to the 3DS games. Thank you very much again, and please stay tuned. We will be making announcements about the Ambassador Program and how to claim those benefits from that, and when the update for 3 Down Stars, which fixes all of these glitches, when that will be available. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year.
Hey, thanks for joining me. Jarrell here. Tonight I wanted to have a chat with you guys, not as a game developer, but just as a regular dude. So, cut out all the business crap. We just launched the update for version 1.1 for 3 Down Stars on the 3DS for US. And it turns out, even though we had fixed a bunch of glitches, dozens of them, we fine-tuned it and we got the game running way better than the first version. Faster loading times, better performance. There was another glitch in one of the areas that makes it seem impossible to actually return to town when you're supposed to be able to just walk back there. Luckily, I was able to find a way to get around that, so I'll be posting a video tomorrow, and it's actually pretty easy to walk around it by sort of cheesing the geometry a bit and getting around it. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is, I'm sorry there's more glitches in this build that was supposed to be the thing to fix everything. And you might be wondering, well, what's up with that? I paid for this game, why isn't it working properly? Why aren't these patches fixing everything? Here's the reason. I've been working on this game for about 2.5 years now, non-stop. And I've been working 112 hours a week. And I'm not going to create any excuses. I'm not going to complain, because that's not what you do. I chose to make this game, and I made a decision to make this game. And I had doubts through a lot of different points in the project, because it's extremely difficult, the current working environment, especially when software says, no, I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do, and you have every seeming element around you telling you, no, you can't do this, you won't be able to do this, and everything seems to be working against me, and I have to look at that and say, do I keep going? But people showed their interest for this game, and I promised to make this game, and I promised to deliver more games because people asked for it. And I chose to do that, so I absolutely intend to do that. And working that much per week, for the early part of it, your adrenaline drives you, and you've got sort of this energy, and you kind of think, yeah, I can do it. You got a runner's high. You work on it. But after a couple months of working 112 hours a week, it takes a huge toll on your body, and it takes a huge toll on your mind. And working on a project like this, it grinds you down until you start to doubt everything about yourself and everything that you do and everything that you're capable of. And you start to wonder, am I even capable of doing this? At a lot of points in your life, you're going to run into situations where people say, do your best, just do your best, and that's good enough. But that's naive and it's altruistic. And to be honest, it's BS. Because you're going to come up against a lot of situations where doing your absolute best and trying hard, it's not good enough. It will not be good enough. And in those situations, you either cry and you go home, or you decide, all right, my very best isn't good enough, and that means that my very best needs to get better. And in this situation, I've worked on this game, I launched it, I released the patch, and the patch wasn't good enough. I did my absolute very best, it wasn't good enough, and for that I apologize, which means that at this point, my very best is just going to have to get better, because there will never be a point for me where I stop and cry and go home because my best wasn't good enough. And I'm sure at some point in the future when I'm developing more games and I'm supposed to be delivering things to people, maybe I will run into another situation where my best isn't good enough. And at that point I'm just going to have to grit my teeth and say, alright, I'll just have to find a way to make my best even better than what it is now. And I hope you guys will stick with me, because if you don't give up on Silver Falls and you stick with us and say, alright, I kind of enjoy what's there in the game, there's some glitches, it's a bit messed up here and there, and you don't give up on us, and I absolutely will not give up on you guys. And to be completely honest, when the game launched in the beginning of January, there were immediately glitches that people were reporting, and 112 hours of work was not enough, so I started putting in 125 to get this patch done. And I have to be honest with you guys, I have not been at my 100% for at least about a year now, and I've been grinding away on this project, and it's been dragging on, and I have been doing my very best, and it's everything I can do to get the game in a playable state and finished and submitted, and there are a lot of elements that go into it, and I reached a point where I couldn't get people to work with me because you have to pay people to work, and Silver Falls wasn't out. I had no way to build up funds because grown-ups have to pay for bills and living expenses. It got to a point where I was working on this game solo, all by myself, and I looked at it, and it felt like the most difficult thing I had ever dealt with career-wise in my life up until that point. And I thought, I either cry and I go home and I give up, or I grit my teeth and I say, all right, I'll figure out a way to make it work. I'll do what I have to do, and if my best isn't good enough, I'll have to find a way to make my best even better. And so I did that day after day, and some days I would wake up and I would think, I'm so tired, I can't do this. And I respond to that every single time by gritting my teeth and saying, no, I've got to do this. I chose to do it. I've decided to do it. I need to stick with it, so I will do it. There have been nights where I hit the 12 o'clock mark, 12 a.m., and I think I'm so exhausted. There were nights where I was clinging on to consciousness. I was literally clinging on to consciousness, barely awake, and I thought, no, I've got to get this game finished. And so I'm there, I'm smashing out code, and I'm doing the graphics, and I'm getting everything rendered, and I get my software to make the build, and I plug it into the hardware, and stuff isn't working the way it's supposed to, and it felt like the world was just working against me, and I just had to grit my teeth and say, I've got to do it, I've got to figure out how to make it work, because I believed in this idea that I had, and I believe that it would mean something to people if I could share this game with at least some people around the world, maybe not the whole world, but some people, that it would mean something to them. And so that idea carried me through, and I thought, it'll be worth it. If I can get this game published, it'll be worth it. And when the game launched in early January, and there were glitches, and the game just wasn't playable, it was crushing to me, because I had poured my entire life into this, and I'd sacrificed absolutely everything in my life, because when you work that many hours a week, you do not have time for anything else. You choose to sacrifice your relationships, your hobbies, things that you are passionate about, things that you love. You have to give those things up if you're going to be working those hours. And I just accepted it. I gritted my teeth and I said, all right, I chose to do it. I have to do it. I'm a huge gamer, just like people all around the world, and I am passionate about the Resident Evil series. I didn't get to play 7, and I didn't get to play 2 Remake. The new Pokemon games came out, and I got to play it for a couple days at the end of December, waiting for the game to launch. and I got to the second gym in Pokemon Sword, and it turned out that I needed to work again. I needed to work more on Silver Falls, and so I'm the biggest Pokemon fan in the world. I own every single mainline title, and I've played through every single title, so not being able to jump into the new generation of games and enjoy it, it sucks, but you know what? That's life, and you have to be a grown-up, and you have to do what you've got to do. And I felt that it'd be worth it. Oh, okay, cool. I'll get the update fixed. I'll get the update out. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. And to find out that doing my absolute very best wasn't good enough this time either. The update did launch. There's problems with it still. And I'm going to get through it. And maybe I'll lose some supporters and some fans. And I understand if you lose your patience with this project because it's dragging on, and that's fine. I don't hold anything against you. But for the people that have stuck with us for so long and you're cheering us on and you're saying, yeah, this is great, keep working on it, despite the glitches, you enjoy it, I don't know how I can thank you. I don't have a team now. I'm working on this alone, and I'm absolutely exhausted because I spent the entire month doing 125 hours, and it's grinding away at me, and I'm at my keyboard every minute of the day. If I'm not at my keyboard, I'm at my phone taking notes, and I'm on my device testing. But I've reached my absolute limit as a human being. I've reached my mental limit. I've reached my physical limit because I've been pushing and working so hard that, yes, the patch did launch. It wasn't as good as it could have been because I am working alone on this, and I'm doing my best, and that's not good enough because I'm alone. Guys, I'm exhausted. I'm sorry that the patch wasn't perfect. But at this point, the team that I've got now is all of you people. All of you guys who have been talking about the game, and you've been enjoying it, and you're reporting the bugs to us, and you're messaging and saying, hey, I ran into an issue here, I got stuck here, there's a minor problem here, there's a major problem here. I need you guys to do that because I'm one guy, and I'm so worn down from my work schedule and the absolute grind that my every day is now. And for all of you that are out there, I understand you guys are on Reddit and on forums and other websites, and you're telling people about the game, and you're sharing your enthusiasm, and you're helping paint the game in this positive light. I can't do this without you guys. I can't make this work without you guys. You guys are the reason why the Silver Falls is going to be successful. I can sit in front of a computer and slam keys all day long, but if I don't have a team like you guys out there, it's not going to work. I am going to fail if I don't have you guys on my side. And I appreciate that. I want you guys to understand that means so much to me, that it feels like I have a team, maybe not sitting here in the office with me, but all around the world. And if we can get this game to be successful, and if we can earn enough with Silver Falls, I will be able to hire on team members that I've been collaborating with and unable to keep in the office working with me. If this game does make the money, I'll be able to hire people, and we will be able to spend the time needed to produce games faster, to work out the bugs faster, to make sure the publishing process goes smoother, and we get through it quickly. And I've been trying my absolute best to make it work up until this point, and I've hit my limit. I'm a human being, and human beings have absolute limitations, and time again working on this project, I've hit that limit, and I've pushed past it, and I've pushed my boundaries further and further. And instead of working this many hours a week, I was able to do this and do that, and to focus for longer periods and to get more work done. But I'm at a point where hours have to be put in for work. I haven't had any real rest in a very long time. I'm so worn down that I just can't operate at 100% anymore, and I don't know how much time I'll need to be able to feel like a normal person again, because I don't feel like a normal person. I feel like I've become a machine, and I'm just fine-tuning this product and trying to fix it. And when the software works against me, I sometimes think, there's no way this is going to work. I cannot make this work if this software isn't going to work. If this machine isn't going to do what I tell it to do. And I grit my teeth and I just find a way to make it work. There's no way that I'm going to give up. And if you guys aren't going to give up, then neither will I. Well, I mean, I'm not going to give up regardless, but if you guys don't give up on this project, it's going to make it a heck of a lot easier on me to keep pressing forward. So, at this point, you guys are my team, and I'm the only one in the office left that's trying to push this game forward and get it working. I'm sorry again that the 1.1 update still has more glitches in it, and one of them does make it an absolute annoyance. But I guess I'll just have to keep working hard, and I'll find a way to make my best better than it has been, so that in the future we'll be able to get games to you guys better. We'll be able to get it to you faster with less bugs and more reliable, and we can get more ideas in there and more interesting concepts, and hopefully everything that I've planned out for this series, the number of games that I've planned out and the sort of years I've planned ahead to keep the series interesting and to keep characters' story arcs moving and to keep plot threads moving forward. Hopefully we can all work together and make that come through and make something interesting for people around the world to play. So thanks for sitting in and having a talk with me. Real talk kind of sucks. It's serious stuff, and I don't enjoy serious stuff all that much. I like to have a good laugh as well. But I really appreciate you guys working with me on this and being patient and understanding. I'm a guy in front of a screen with a keyboard, and I'm trying to make this work. This has been my lifelong dream since I was a kid, and I thought, I'm either going to dream about it, I'm going to give up, or I'm going to make it work, and I'm trying to make it work. And it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes help from other people as well. Thanks for sticking around, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hi, Jarrell here. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. And I wanted to discuss something that we sort of briefly mentioned on Twitter. Our first Silver Falls game that we were working on before 3 Down Stars was actually a Wii U exclusive. We were actually working on this a couple of years ago, and our goal with that was to create a game that was so exclusive to the Wii U there was no way it could possibly work on any other console. And what we came up with, and this game actually made it to about 40 to 50% through development, and we got a lot of it done, and we were looking at it, and I had sort of made the decision that I would rather spend our time on a game that people could spend more time with and have more fun with, because this Wii U game, it was purely horror based, and we hadn't done a console game up until this point. We had made some mobile games and things like that, and so I was at that point I was thinking, what's achievable? Our team is still small, new. We don't have all the experience in the world, and so our scale for that Wii U game was smaller. And so we thought, oh, a short, action-packed horror game with some jump scares and things like that. And it was neat, but through testing it, it kind of felt like the novelty of it wore off after a while. And at that point, I hadn't spent 2 or 3 years writing Silver Falls. I'd spent a couple months, so we hadn't established the intense stories and character relationships and interaction and lore that we have right now. And in 3 Down Stars, people playing it, I hope you guys are enjoying it, because there is a lot of lore to explore. There are a lot of characters that exist, just even in the background of 3 Down Stars, and a lot of characters that don't even make an appearance or a mention in 3 Down Stars, yet they exist in the world, and you can sort of get hints of their existence through the relationships of other characters and things like that. That didn't exist when we were working on the Wii U game. But we have that lore now, and it's all written out, and it's sort of sitting in our documents. So when we are planning and working on Silver Falls games, we sort of look at what we've written and we say, oh yeah, okay, well this is an interesting bit for this character, this is an interesting bit for this character, we'll include that. And oftentimes the stories of those characters and their lives and the sort of things that they deal with in their life become part of the mechanics of the game, and they become part of what make the game interesting. Um, so with the Wii U game, how it works is I can't actually show it to you for non-disclosure agreements, things like that. But the you have the gamepad, and how the gamepad worked is we had created an entire operating system called the Mercury TechPad, and the gamepad functions as sort of a smartphone or a tablet, so it has its own interface. Uh, and you have the Wiimote, and you point the Wiimote at the screen, and you aim a flashlight around, and you use the buttons to navigate your character. So it's in the first-person perspective. So you're looking at your, big TV screen or whatever. You're pushing the buttons to walk around. You're aiming, and you're in a forest at night, totally pitch black, and all you have is your flashlight, and you have your tech pad. And what happens in this Silver Falls Wii U game is there's something that's following you out in the forest, and every once in a while you'll catch a glimpse of it, and it'll be standing behind a tree watching you, or behind some bushes watching you. And if it approaches you and grabs you, it messes you up. And if it grabs you too many times, it's game over. It's a little bit of a jump scare sort of thing. And the only way to stop it, the flashlight does not stop that from happening. What you have to do is use your gamepad. You have to open the camera app on the gamepad, and then you have to aim it up, and you have to look at the creature, and you try and get a photo of it. And if it realizes you're trying to take a photo of it, it'll disappear for a little while because it doesn't want to get captured. So what you're actually doing is you're holding this, and you're sort of looking at the screen on here and looking at the screen in the environment, and you can see what's happening on here as if it's a smartphone with a camera. And you hold this, and you got the flashlight, so you've got to try and get the flashlight on there. And then you can also turn a flashlight on your tech pad in the game, but that drains the battery. If your flashlight battery runs out, then you can use the battery. You can turn the battery on your tech pad, but the problem is that'll drain the battery even faster on that. There was some communication with another character that occurred through the gamepad, and you could actually learn more about the character that you're playing as and the characters in the world by sort of, you don't even have to play the game itself. You can set the flashlight down, and there are some mini games that are programmed into the tech pad as you would have on a smartphone. And you can sort of just read through text messages and things like that. But in the lore of Silver Falls, there are certain places where the vast majority of Silver Falls, it's very difficult to get reception, and electronic devices don't necessarily work there. So you won't actually have reception in-game, so you won't be able to call for help and things like that. So anyway, we just wanted to sort of gauge if anyone was still interested in that. That game would be called Silver Falls: White Inside Its Umbra, and it would be a very a small scope horror game, not necessarily long. It's not going to have a sort of an epic storyline like 3 Down Stars. But if people were interested in that, we're going to be close to wrapping up Silver Falls Undertaker's production pretty soon, and we were going to go straight into Lucid Nightmare after Undertaker's. But if there is interest, we're doing a sort of a feasibility study right now to see what we can do about the Wii U game. If there is interest, if people think the idea that I've discussed is interesting and exciting, and they think, oh wow, that might be a fun game, then please let us know. If you think it's not that exciting or interesting, please let us know, because we are focused on the schedule that we set up for this year, and we really want to get games out to people. And because the games do connect and they unlock content in each other, we want to get the games out pretty quickly so that people can experience the excitement of watching these games connect. But we actually have code in 3 Down Stars and the other games to connect to the Wii U game just in case. So the connectivity is there. And we have been throwing around some ideas. The game, the Wii White Inside Its Umbra, would not have a Frontier Fighters, so to speak, because we spent a lot of time on Frontier Fighters and 3 Down Stars, and people are meant to sort of relax and just sort of chill and spend hours playing that and working on their characters, an hour here, an hour there. We didn't necessarily have something like that planned for White Inside Its Umbra, but we sort of had the lead character, the protagonist that you're playing as in White Inside Its Umbra, raises horses, helps her uncle raise horses, and so there was going to be
instead of Frontier Fighters, there would be a mode where you raise horses, and it's sort of like a pet simulator, and you have to sort of build up relationships with the horses and level them up and boost their stats and train them with mini games to increase their stats and things like that. And then you would have different riders, and then you can combine different riders with different horses and then do races and things like that. And there can be a multiplayer aspect to it. Then you can ride horses and race and whatnot. And if we did do that, we would have it connect to the other Silver Falls games. So, say for example, you have 3 down stars. If you connected 3 down stars to White Inside its Umbra, it would add Holt, Annalise, and Moss as horse riders that you can ride in the game itself. And so there'd be the racing mode, and then there would also be sort of a battle mode as well. And that would sort of be there's enemies, rabid animals and whatnot that attack sort of the ranch where these horses are being raised, and the rider that you have selected has their own signature sort of projectile weapon, and you're riding your horse, and it becomes a little bit of a top-down action. You're riding your horse, and you're sort of avoiding getting hit by enemies while you're shooting enemies down, and then it's sort of wave-based and things like that. And then that would make it a little more interesting when you connect to other games, because when you do bring in other characters, they have different weapons, and the playable characters have slightly different stats and things like that. And that's something that you could spend a little bit more time other than, because on the story mode in this, you probably play through it once or twice and you get everything you can out of it. And we didn't want to spend too much time producing a game that you play once or twice and that's it. And that's why we moved from the Wii U game to 3 down stars. But now that we have more lore established and we can cram in a lot more story, a lot more character interaction, more lore into this, we wouldn't say no to finishing this game. And if people think that raising horses and then taking characters out of survival horror games and having them ride horses, one, in a fun racing mode, and then 2, in sort of a action fighting mode where enemies attacking, you're riding a horse and fighting off enemies, let us know. But it is a console that is getting on in its years, and if people aren't interested in that, at least we shared the idea with you. But this is a concept that we absolutely would not be able to execute on other platforms, because the game was so focused around using the features of this gamepad in conjunction with the using this Wiimote as a flashlight. So anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me, and let us know what you think. Join us on Facebook and Twitter, and leave comments. And if you are enjoying 3 down stars so far, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. And if you want to, help support our studio and help us create more games, then all you've got to do is just enjoy our games. And if you know other gamers out there that you think they would enjoy it, tell them about the game and tell them what you think of it and how you're enjoying it. Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll see you in Silver Falls. Hi, Terrell here. Thanks for joining me. I hope you guys don't mind. I've got to look at my phone again. I've been working really, really long hours this past week, and I'm kind of burning the candles at both ends here, so I can't really remember everything off the top of my head. I got a couple things I wanted to discuss, so I hope you don't mind. I'll be looking at my phone for a little bit here. First off the bat, I just wanted to thank everyone who's been messaging and sending positive messages and encouraging me to carry on and keep working hard, and I really appreciate that. I mean, this is grinding work, and I'm looking at my computer for literally every minute of the day. So to hear that people are enjoying the game is very encouraging, and it makes it feel like all this hard work is worth it, that people are enjoying this thing that I'm making. So, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the people out there who have offered to contribute, through Patreon and things like that. We don't have a Patreon, and I don't intend to set one up, and I do appreciate you guys have offered to do that, but I don't want to ask people to do that because I want to create these games, and then when you guys buy the games, that's your way to contribute to help fund this business that I've started to make games. And even though you can't, contribute to a Patreon, what would be even better, that I would appreciate even more, would be far more valuable to us, is for you to just tell people about the game and Silver Falls as a series, and tell people how much you enjoy it and why you enjoy it, and the things that sort of set it apart from other games that you think people would enjoy. And so version 1.2 is coming up for 3 Down Stars, and it makes some huge improvements. So when version 1.2 for 3 Down Stars does drop, if you guys do want to support us and help us succeed and grow and become a bigger community and a business and a development studio that can make more games faster and more reliably, then that's how you can help us. Is just enjoy the games, play them, and then let people know what you think of them and how much you enjoy them. So what's ahead for 3 Down Stars in 1.2? I'll try and cover some things that we haven't discussed yet, that maybe we haven't mentioned in post that much and haven't been in videos. One of the things that's sort of hidden in the game is that certain alternate costumes for characters have skills attached to them. And previously it was silent, and you weren't able to see it. So the update will, when you're at the tent and you're selecting your character outfits, it will tell you the skill that's attached to that outfit and the effect that it has. Most notably, we'll be fixing a ton of random crashing updates. Again, I really apologize for what happened with the 1.1 update. I was really pressed for time, and I don't want to blame the software that I'm using or anything, because at the end of the day, it's my responsibility to make sure everything's working properly by the time it reaches you. But we were really pressed for time, and the development environment software I'm using was randomly cutting out 12 megabytes from the build size, and I couldn't get it to stop doing that, which meant I do all of my work, I put everything in there, I make the fixes, and I say, all right, program, please make this file I can send to Nintendo. And it wasn't including all the data in the build file. It just refused to. It was randomly cutting out 12 megs here and there. I couldn't control it. It was totally out of my control. And at the end of the day, I had to get a file sent to Nintendo. And that's why there's so many random crashes. Everyone's reporting different crashes in different places. It's unreliable. It's unpredictable. I'm very sorry about that. For some reason, the program has stopped doing it. So now I'm making builds with version 1.2. Program is no longer randomly cutting data out, which means those random crashes should be gone. Fingers crossed that it doesn't magically start doing it, but I will be submitting update 1.2 to Nintendo either tonight or tomorrow. One thing that people have requested is the lock-on feature, and so that is not a core skill that's always accessible. It's only accessible in Frontier Fighters, and it is a skill that certain characters, we've adjusted their skill board so that they can equip lock-on through equipping skill links. But you can also get the skill lock attached to certain skills. So when you finish a mission and you get your reward weapon, it can have lock-on attached to that weapon. It has a higher drop rate than other skills because it is quite useful. So that will not be available in the story mode, and the reason being is because it really changes the dynamic of battles. It makes the player way more powerful when you can lock onto an enemy and the camera will sort of swing around. And it's not like Z targeting where it will stay focused on the enemy. It'll just it'll take about a split second, but it'll just swing the camera around and then it'll show you the nearest enemy. I've added reversals, so the camera, if you hold back on the circle pad and then you double tap B, which is your run button, it'll flip the camera around 180. That's very useful. That'll be a core part of the battle system, so it's available always in story mode and Frontier Fighters. You will not need a skill to use reversal. And you will also have reversal attack, which is, again, always available. I've shown a bit of video clips on it on our social media before, but if you hold your down on your circle pad, you double tap the B, you have about half a second or so to press your melee attack, and if you do have a melee weapon equipped, your character will perform a very powerful attack. It's 150% strength. So it's 50% stronger than a standard melee attack. It's quite strong if you've got a slower melee weapon equipped. It's a great way to bust out an attack and knock some enemies back because it's pretty powerful. In 1.2, there will also be a little bit more lore added to the game. There's a couple more notes here and there and some more character details. We have adjusted the camera again to perform a bit more favorably in tight spaces. It's easier to control and to keep it looking at what you need. The enemy again has I'm still been fine-tuning it and improving it a bit, so it's easier to deal with enemies. They won't phase inside of you. We've balanced the late game difficulty. People have reported that there's certain areas, the very end of the game and towards the end of the game, that are very difficult. But again, I've adjusted a number of bugs, so your melee attacks will no longer phase through smaller enemies. Crows and rabbits in the past very easily could have phased through your melee attacks, making it very difficult to take them out. That has been addressed, so and I've managed to improve the overall performance of the game and the overall frame rate, and I've improved the physics accuracy during combat. So I appreciate everyone sending your feedback and being so patient and understanding about that. Your addresses will be your concerns will be addressed in the next update. Combat will be much more reliable and much tighter. And I've adjusted some dialogues and item descriptions in the game, so I've added some character dialogues. I've adjusted some item descriptions to give you a bit more information to help guide you in terms of your objectives and what you should be doing next in the game. You can somewhat sequence break the game a little bit. That can get you a bit frustrated and confused. For example, if you get to the point with Moss where you have a dynamite and you're going or you don't have the dynamite yet, you're about to get it. If you sort of change characters at that point in the game, you can choose to play other characters. You can play as Holt, and you can go on to a part of the game that won't have all of your path clear, so it's confusing as to what you're supposed to do next. So I've added to where that confusion can no longer happen, and Holt will sort of offer some dialogue and say, hey, I wonder what Moss is up to, prompting you to not get sort of lost in an area, and you sort of think, okay, well, maybe I should check what Moss is doing again. And I wanted to cover a bit of the future of Silver Falls. So what is in store for Silver Falls? Now that we get to the fun part, we're done with the glitches and bugs and things like that. With Undertakers, we'll feature a number of characters that players would have met in 3 Down Stars. Undertakers takes place in the 70s, which means it takes place a number of decades before 3 Down Stars, so you'll see a number of characters quite a bit younger. Undertakers will introduce a number of characters that players have not met yet, but they may have existed doing things in the background of 3 Down Stars. Undertakers will introduce them, and there would be enough minor details in 3 Down Stars to help you connect and say, oh, okay, well, that must have been this character there. You can use the code linker system to connect Undertakers with every game that's planned and in development right now. There are more games that haven't been announced that Undertakers and 3 Down Stars will connect to, and they're already set up to do that and provide players with content that should feel rewarding when they do connect those games. Undertakers will be rich lore, like 3 Down Stars. So if you're enjoying 3 Down Stars, the amount of detail that's in the environment and the lore and the background, Undertakers will have more lore presented in a similar manner. So if you're enjoying that, Undertakers will have more of that for you. For Lucid Nightmare, which should be launching shortly after Undertakers, Lucid Nightmare takes place about 3 months before 3 Down Stars. So it's offers a bit of an insight into what happens a bit before that story. It'll feature multiple different puzzle styles that are all sort of variations on the player navigating their character around a space and trying to move some objects together to line them up in certain ways to achieve certain objectives. Lucid Nightmare will feature an endless puzzle mode, and so that's for if you're on the train or a bus ride and you just want to chill for about 10 minutes or so and you don't really feel like fighting enemies, Lucid Nightmare will feature an endless puzzle mode. And in this endless puzzle mode, you sort of have to build a team of characters, and it's sort of a match 3 or a match 4 style of game, but you have a party of characters that you set up, and there's something happening on the top screen that involves the team that you set up, and then you have your puzzle elements on the bottom screen. And using the code linker system, you will be able to connect Lucid Nightmare to every single Silver Falls game that's been announced, that's in development, and future games that have yet to be announced, that are in that have their planning stages completed and the conceptual stages all done. Lucid Nightmare will be able to connect to those. So that means as more games launch in the future, you'll be able to come back and bring those future characters into Lucid Nightmare and keep customizing and building your team to deal with different puzzles and things like that. For Deadly Shadows, I've had a number of people message and say, "Oh man, I'm pretty excited about this Deadly Shadows thing." So I don't want to give out, too many details about the future games, because I'm still trying to make sure that 3 Down Stars gives the experience that I've promised people. I want to make sure that people are able to enjoy that game to its fullest and enjoy all the content that's in there, because oh boy, there's a lot of content in that game. Deadly Shadows, I'll give you some details again that we haven't sort of gone over yet before. It takes place entirely in the mountains at a lumber cutting camp. So 3 Down Stars has a number of different locations and things like that. Deadly Shadows will be a smaller, tighter, more focused experience, and it might feel a bit like an 80s slasher movie. And it'll play like a more retro 90s style horror game. So it's a bit more bombastic, a bit louder. It might be an experience if you're looking for something similar to like the old horror games from the 90s, where things are a bit, bam, pow, holy crap, what's going on here? Deadly Shadows will offer something like that, and less of the slower paced horror of 3 Down Stars. So Deadly Shadows takes place in the 80s, and it stars characters that players have met in 3 Down Stars. So I haven't yet announced which characters those are, or which character will be the main protagonist, but players, there's enough clues out there in the game and sort of what we said about Deadly Shadows on social media. Players should be able to figure that out, actually. But you'll see characters who are a few decades younger in Deadly Shadows. They're frozen in time. They're somewhere in 3 Down Stars. They're all over the world. And the story and characters of Deadly Shadows, they're pretty closely connected to the events of Undertakers and some of the events in 3 Down Stars. So I hope people enjoy, once those games do launch, I hope people enjoy putting the pieces together and figuring out what's going on here. Diamond Island, again, I am not entirely sure we will be able to bring this game to the 3DS, but people have asked, so I will absolutely 100% do my best. But it will at least be a Switch game. So Diamond Island takes place about 6 months before 3 Down Stars. And again, if you're enjoying the sort of the rich lore and the details that are in 3 Down Stars, there'll be a lot more of that in Diamond Island. And it'll help connect the world together and make the lore and the world feel more connected and tighter and things like that. So characters that have been seen in 3 Down Stars, they will feature in Diamond Island. And the gameplay will focus heavily on an open world sort of exploration of this island, collecting materials and building, so you can custom build pretty much anything. But because the game focuses on that sort of building and things like that, the sort of development environment that I'm restricted with makes it very difficult to make that work on the 3DS and not make it a crash-a-palooza. The game running on the Switch wouldn't have those sort of problems, but on 3DS it would make it extremely difficult to provide a reliable experience for gamers, which is why I don't want to promise that yet. I know that I can get the game running on 3DS. Whether or not it will be reliable and not crash out all the time is another issue, so before I promise that, I want to make sure that I spend the time, and if I can get it working, then I will release it for the 3DS. The other day I sort of dropped the title banner for Golden Ridge Ranch, and again, I haven't covered a lot of details on that. That's a future thing, and it's not even going to be the game that launches after Diamond Island. So Golden Ridge Ranch is sometime in the future, but I thought, heck, it's a fun idea, and I'd like to share the idea because I'd like to let people know what we have in store, that I'm not just going to drop one game and say, haha, give me your money, I'm out of here, suckers. That is absolutely the opposite of what I want to do. I want to let people know that I want to be engaged with you guys. I'd like to hear what you think about the story and the lore of the characters, and if there's something funny or quirky, when you post it, it gives me a laugh to see that you guys are enjoying this stuff, but I want to let you know that I'm in it for the long haul. I've written years worth of material for these character arcs, for the lore, and I don't want to just jam it down your throats in one go. I'm going to take this and pace it out in a way that feels rewarding. So I've made a number of games, and it's not all going to be the same genre, and it's not going to be the same play style, because we're all gamers and we all know that's going to get boring, and it will reach a point where the development team will have to try and one-up themselves on everything because, oh, well, we need to be bigger and louder than the last game. And that is not sustainable. And so by focusing on a focused experience with a core idea that makes sense just on its own, and you don't have to try to compete with your previous games in the series, and you can focus on moving in a direction that's still consistent. It feels consistent with the story and the lore and the characters, but you can give players something interesting and a different way to enjoy the whole universe that you set up, then I think that's an interesting way to move forward with this. So that's my goal with Silver Falls. So with Golden Ridge Ranch, I'll go into some details that we haven't brought out yet. It will be a ranch farm simulator, so if you love old games like the Harvest Moon and stuff like that, I grew up playing Harvest Moon, it's going to be that, but set in Silver Falls. There's quite a bit of lore in Silver Falls 3 Down Stars available right now to where you can actually learn a bit about Golden Ridge Ranch. You can learn about some characters related to it and the history of that ranch. The player will not be playing as someone who lives in town, so it's not an established character. The player is sort of creates their own character, and they're playing as an out-of-towner that's come in and said, oh, cool, this ranch is really cheap. No one's doing anything with this. I'll buy it, and I'll make it profitable. So your goal with Golden Ridge Ranch, you're an out-of-towner, you've come in to become a rancher, and you're going to make this ranch profitable, and you're going to be raising various crops through the different seasons, and you're going to be raising animals. And on top of that, you'll be forming relationships with the characters in town, so it kind of feels like you yourself have come into Silver Falls, and now you're befriending these people in town, and you're learning more about their lives, and you're building relationships with them, and they're going to help you try to make this ranch profitable. It's going to feature a lot of characters that will be introduced, that have been introduced in 3 Down Stars and will be introduced in other games. It's going to feature a lot of those characters, so you get to see them in different environments, you get to learn more about them, and the game will take place about 2 months after 3 Down Stars. So in terms of story, it's a proper sequel to 3 Down Stars, in that it moves the story forward and you get to see progression of some character arcs. There is no release date for Golden Ridge Ranch. Again, it's not even going to be the game after Diamond Island. Save the video. Okay, I'm just reading this thing on my phone here. Something popped up. And again, because Golden Ridge Ranch focuses on building things, and it's quite resource heavy in terms of the hardware, I cannot promise that it will be a 3DS game. It absolutely will be on the Switch. Again, at that point, it'll be up to you guys to tell me whether or not you want a game like this on the 3DS, because I would like to move forward and sort of push my limits as a developer and see what I can do in terms of providing huge amounts of content in game that make the game worth playing. On the Switch, I will not have those restrictions. I'll be able to push my games a lot further. But we'll see where we are at that point. It'll be up to you guys. You tell me if you want that on the 3DS. If you still want more 3DS games, I will do absolutely everything I can to see if I can get that game working reliably on the 3DS hardware. The direction for Silver Falls moving forward is that I want each game to be so rich with lore and so full of life in terms of the characters and their relationships and their history. I want it to feel rewarding to play each game, because you're learning so much about this world and you're learning about these characters, and the more you play, you see, oh, okay, there was a sort of a weird thing that's going on between these two characters, or hey, somebody mentioned something that happened 5 years ago. What the heck was that? And the way that the story and lore are expressed in Silver Falls, again, I don't want to just jam it all down your throat, and I don't want everything to be in your face. I want the lore and characters to be expressed in such a way that it feels like you have to go and find it yourself. And I want players around the world to be able to come together and say, hey, did you notice this detail? And other players will say, no, I didn't even get to see that. And so people can put things together, and they'll sort of help figure out what's going on in this world and with these characters. The code linker system that connects all of these games physically is set up to let you see how characters' stories progress over time. So if a game takes place 2 months after 3 Down Stars, if it takes place 3 months, if it takes place 6 months, you'll get to see what happens to Holt, Annalise, and Moss. You know, have they grown? Have they changed? You can see what happens to the support characters that are in 3 Down Stars and what's going on with their lives, what happened to them. But also, when a game is set in the past, when you use the code linker system to move your characters back into the past, you can see what happened to them at different points in their lives. And I think that's a very interesting way from a writer standpoint to be able to let people explore that character. And because the code linker system, that's something that you have to do manually, it makes it feel like you are exploring that character's lives and you're in charge of what's happening with them. And I think that's a great way to let you explore these characters. And making games in the future and publishing games in the future, I want to let you know that I'm not going to only be doing, huge releases, but you're going to have to wait 2 to 3 years. That I want to steer clear of that. That is absolutely the opposite of my intention. I intend to do big games that have bigger experiences, and in between those big games, I'll be producing a number of smaller games that are still the absolute top quality that I can produce, but those smaller games will probably focus on only 1 or 2 characters at a time. It'll focus on one event on their lives, and it'll focus on a core concept about that character and what makes that character interesting, or some important event that happened in their life. And if I can think of an interesting gameplay concept that I think hasn't been done before, or hasn't been really explored in other games, then that's sort of my goal with these smaller, tight, focused games, and players can explore some sort of quirky idea I had about a gameplay style. And what will stop those games from feeling sort of on their own and secluded, not connected, is the code linker system. So I might make a small game every few months, and you can explore the life of one character that was sort of sitting in the background, and you get to learn more about them. And by taking the bigger game, like 3 Down Stars, you use the code linker system, you connect it to the smaller game, and then you can see how characters from that major game tie into the characters from the smaller game, and you can see how their lives intertwine, and you can see how their relationships grow, how those characters affect each other. And from a writer standpoint, I think that's very exciting for me, because then I can say, oh yeah, I can develop these characters, and it's not that they're developing on their own, it's developing because they've interacted with Holt, Annalise, and Moss, or these other characters from other games, and all these other smaller games will also tie together. And I think it's in a way where in a year's time, when we have a number of games that are out, some big and some small, it's going to be exciting for players who just come in, a year after the fact, and there's a bunch of games, and they're not going to be, not every game's going to be full price. The smaller games are going to be a smaller price, and it'll be a way to enjoy more of the game in a way that I think hasn't been done before. Personally, now, I want to get on a personal level. I'm really excited to get this concept going. It's something that I haven't seen before, and I think, personally for me, I think, oh man, if that excited, I'd be excited if a game series like that existed. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, I'm saying that I should make it exist, and this excitement that I feel, I can share that with people around the world and other gamers that would enjoy an idea like that. That's why I feel so driven to get this working, even though I have hit road bumps. I'm facing a lot of difficulty, and I'm having to put in some insane hours throughout the week. But I've had people tell me that they enjoy Silver Falls so far. They enjoy the lore, and they enjoy putting the pieces together. And to me, it makes me feel like all of this hard work will be worth it, and people are enjoying it. I personally enjoy exploring characters' lives when I watch a TV show or I see a series of movies or games. And I've always wished, man, I wish I could get more into it. I want to be able to see more about this one character in the background. Sometimes I watch an anime, and there's just like one character that's a support character that's got an awesome power, cool story to them, and you barely see that character, and you never get to explore that character. And so with Silver Falls, I want players to be able to explore all of these small minor characters in the background at their own pace. And if you're not interested in that character, then hey, ignore that game. You're not forced to have to spend time with any character that you don't like. And I want to be able to keep coming up with different game ideas, and some of them might seem out of left field, because, these first few games, they're all like sort of horror themed, and they're, in a way, they're survival horror, and they're quite, consistent in that regard. But games coming after that They may not be horror games, they may not be survival games, they're going to be some different genres, but my main intention is to create a game franchise that you won't get bored with, because I'm always going to have something new for you to explore and a new way to explore that. And I want later games in the series, I don't want to feel like I'm desperately trying to come up with a way to make it interesting, and I don't want the games to feel disconnected by having, 4 or 5 games that are survival horror, and then all of a sudden I make like a kart racing game or a fishing game, and you're like, what the heck is this? I want you to know off the bat, we're going to be covering all sorts of genres. It doesn't matter if it seems ridiculous or outlandish. The core intention of that game is to let you explore more about the story and the characters, and to add content to other games in an interesting way. I guess I got kind of long-winded there, and I'm kind of just talking and talking and talking now because I've been staring at my computer for what feels like 200 hours nonstop, and it's slowly chipping away at my sanity, but I guess that's what it takes to make Silver Falls. So I just wanted to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys. You're making this worth it. You guys are making all of this hard work worth it, and all the sacrifice and the hours that I have to put in to make this work. You guys make it worth it. You guys make the series work, and I want to thank you so much. I'm sorry that I haven't replied to everyone who have left messages. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, as soon as I get this update rolled out. But every second of my life is dictated by getting 3 Down Stars in the state that it needs to be and getting the next games ready to publish. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you spending time with us on social media and engaging with us and letting us know what you think. I really hope you're enjoying Silver Falls. I'm putting a crazy amount of work into it, and I will not give up. I will not stop. I'll keep making it work. Thank you. I'll see you in Silver Falls.
Hi everyone, welcome. Jarrell here, I'm the director of Sungrand. A lot of you probably already know me, but I noticed we're getting a bigger audience, so that just keeps increasing day by day. So for picking up 3 Down Stars, I very genuinely thank you very much for picking up the game, and I hope you're enjoying it very much. The version that's out right now is version 1.1. That version does have some glitches that make the game a bit annoying, and these glitches have been addressed. So I finished update version 1.2. I've sent that through to Nintendo, and they are processing it now. So hopefully they have that published within the next 2 weeks or so, and we can see some new content added to the game, an increase in frame rate and performance, massive bug fixes and things like that, and a number of overall improvements to the game as well. So again, thank you everyone for picking up 3 Down Stars and playing it and supporting us and showing your support online. I really appreciate that. So moving forward, I want to let you guys know that I do intend to keep updating 3 Down Stars through 2020. I have some content I have in mind that I would like to add to the game to keep it interesting for people who are playing it. After you make it through story mode, there's Frontier Fighters, which you can spend a lot of hours on, sort of powering up your characters and trying to get cool equipment with interesting skills attached, and leveling up and customizing your weapons and things like that. I do have content in mind that I would like to add, that when you explore story mode and you go through it again after you've beaten it the first time, you'll be able to pick up items that will make the game a bit interesting. They're not combat items. They're what I call gunfetti, and they are sort of special effects that you can find scattered throughout the town. Someone in town is making these things called gunfetti, and it's sort of like you put it at the end of a firearm, and when the gun fires, instead of getting a normal muzzle flash, you'll get special effects that pop out of the gun. So it's not useful in any way, but I thought it'd be fun, a neat way to sort of explore the town and find more things to make the game just fun in a way, so that when you play through Frontier Fighters, not only will you be able to customize the laser sight color for your character, but each character will also be able to customize their gunfetti effect. And I hope that when that update launches, people have fun with it. I'm kind of making myself laugh because there's some funny stuff that I've designed for the gunfetti effects. So I hope people enjoy that. I've taken a couple days break from development because I worked very intensely on the 1.2 update. because I wanted to get a better version of the game out to all the people who are playing 3 Down Stars at the moment. So it was exhausting working on the 1.1 and then the 1.2 update. So I've taken a couple days off from developing the main games, and I was sort of sitting there and I was thinking, well, I'd like to keep producing things for all my fans and Silver Falls fans to enjoy. So I started making the Silver Falls Compendium app, and the app lets you keep track of all the games that are coming up. I know that our information is a bit scattered over social media, so the Compendium app will let you view all of the games in chronological order, in terms of you can either sort it by publish date, or you can sort the games by when they take place in the story, so that way you don't have to be too confused as to when a game takes place, as some games take place within 1 or 2 weeks of each other. And you'll also be able to see upcoming games. Also, the Compendium app lets you collect action figures, and these sort of virtual figures, you can put them on the shelf. There will be a diorama mode where you can sort of pose them and put props in their hands and take pictures of it. But there's also an embedded game in the Compendium app called Frontier Defenders, and Frontier Defenders is presented as if it's like a tabletop board game sort of thing with an LCD screen of some kind. And how that works is you put a figure that you collect onto the Frontier Defenders board, and enemies will spawn, and each character figure that you use has their own sort of attack range. They have an attack speed. So I'll go ahead and boot it up here, and I'll show you how it looks. Here we go, the Compendium app. And mind you, all the graphics here, they may not exactly be finished, but oh, I better turn up the brightness here. There we go. There we go. So you can see we have Holt, Dodger Rogers, and Karn DeLance, and you see enemies are walking. So Holt got taken out already. You see the green sort of meter that fills it as a time meter. When that fills it, the character will perform their attack. So Dodger is a bit of a sniper, so he has a bit of a narrow but long range attack. And there we go, we took out enemies from a distance. Now what Karn has, you'll notice his green meter fills up quite slowly, and that's because he is a healer. So if Dodger takes damage, you can see his heart's indicated there. You can see he's lost a heart, so he's down to 2. And Karn is going to... took some damage there. So Karn will use his healing ability, and you can see that Dodger has recovered 1 more heart. The problem with healers is that they don't have offensive capabilities. So once your healer is taken out, they won't be able to defend themselves. They won't be able to help heal anymore. Different characters have different attack ranges, and some attack ranges are pretty wildly different than other ones. So that's sort of how the game works. So in terms of characters, there are quite a few different types. Oh, Karn's not down just yet. Okay, so that was just sort of a quick sample of that. I'll go back and I'll show you the rest of this as well. So, oh boy, this is going to be a challenge. Let's say I go to the figure library here. And these are just placeholder graphics, but you can see, you can sort of zoom in. These are empty boxes at the moment, but when you receive new figures, they'll be on the shelf, and what happens is, you can see there's figures in those boxes there. In order to use them in Frontier Defenders, what you'll actually have to do is take them out of the box. You'll have to open it. So if you touch the box sort of hovers in front of you. You have to hold the cardboard and touch the plastic and sort of spread it apart, and then that'll tear open the box, and it'll have a nice tearing sound. As you figure collectors know, it's a little bit heartbreaking to take something out of the box, but at the end of the day, you can enjoy a figure more if it's out of the box. I'll show you sort of, and the graphics on this are not finished, so this is pretty behind the scenes here, but I'll go to get new figures, and this is sort of a coin drop game. So when you get new figures, you get coins, and you sort of touch this drop coin button, and you can see the coin will fall and land in certain spots. So depending on the spot where the coin lands, you'll either get a character figure, you'll get a monster figure, or you'll get a prop figure. And a prop figure is something that you can use in the backgrounds as well. And if you go to the very edges, you'll get an equipment figure. And that's stuff like a gun or a knife or something like that. And you can actually use those items. You can scan them into Frontier Defenders, and it'll give boosts for certain types of characters.
So there's a bit of fun you can have there collecting all the different figures and things like that. And you do have the code linker, so when you own the other Silver Falls games, you will be able to connect with Compendium, and Compendium will keep track of the games that you've scanned in, so it'll sort of say, oh, you own 3 Down Stars, cool. It'll let you know, it'll keep track of that, but also it'll unlock and add figures to your libraries that you otherwise would not be able to obtain. So as more Silver Falls games come out in the future, I will keep updating the Compendium app. And when you get those other games, scan them in, and it'll add more figures to the game. And of course, if you enjoy playing that little Frontier Defenders games, it'll give you more figures. And the more figures you have for that, the more new strategies you can try to get a high score and things like that. Again, there's totally free. There's no ads. There's no monetization because all of you are already paying for the main Silver Falls games. And I just want to give you guys more ways to enjoy the series and enjoy the characters and things like that. We'll have a look at the game library here. So the games sort of slide in, and it sort of gives you like a virtual box art. And you can go through right now. They're not super sorted in any particular way, but you can sort of look through there. I can't really see what's going on. There's Diamond Island there. Ooh, it's a bit hard to see what's going on there with the lighting. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so you can see the games lined up there, and you'll be able to see what's coming up. That's pretty much it. And that's the Compendium app. It's going to be free. We do have 2 games coming up for mobile devices. One is going to be for the iOS exclusive, one's Android exclusive, 1 game on both. But with Campfire Stories and with the Compendium app that actually makes 5 mobile apps for Silver Falls, all totally free. None of them are monetized because I just want to give you guys more ways to enjoy Silver Falls and to let you know that I appreciate you guys supporting me. So I'm going to make some free stuff for you guys to enjoy. I'm not going to ask for any monetization in any way because I appreciate you guys supporting me anyway. I'm actually finishing up Compendium. I'd like to be able to launch this pretty soon. And then I'll be getting back to Undertakers. Undertakers is very close to completion, and I will be submitting that within 1 to 2 weeks. And that will be sent off to Nintendo. And I'm excited to get Undertakers out and published because it does connect to Silver Falls 3 Down Stars with a code linker. And it will add Bull Brandish, who has become one of my favorite characters in terms of writing for him and designing for him and having him writing and having him interact with other characters and things like that. So I would like to be able to share sort of what we've developed with that character with other people. So I really want Undertakers out. People can connect the games and they can enjoy the stories that I've written. And in terms of the 3 games that will be coming out, so the iOS exclusive, the Android exclusive, and the one that connects to both, those games will connect to 3 Down Stars. They will unlock more content in 3 Down Stars. And not only that, those games will connect to all future Silver Falls games. So it doesn't matter if it's Undertakers, Lucid Nightmare, Deadly Shadows, Diamond Island, Golden Ridge Ranch. All of these free mobile games will connect to every single Silver Falls game in the future. And I think that's just an exciting way to keep exploring the characters and things like that. So moving forward, I want to let you guys know that I really appreciate all of your support, but it's very difficult for a small indie developer to get attention online. I have contacted various YouTubers that I personally really enjoy watching. And I've contacted a lot of people through Twitter, through YouTube, through Facebook, and things like that, and not a single person has responded. So it's very difficult for me to go and say, oh, hey, I really love your YouTube channel. I love watching you talk about games, and I'm a developer, and I just developed this game, and if you'd like, I can give you a download code, and you can review the game and you know, say whatever you want about it. I haven't gotten a single person to respond to that, which really sucks. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. At the end of the day, it's my job to make sure the game gets published. But the more units we move, the more copies we sell, the more people we reach around the world,
the easier it becomes for me to make games. I'm not ever going to say set up a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe or something like that, or crowdfund, and I'm not ever going to ask you guys to pay for something in advance. I'm never going to say, please give me, all this money, and then I promise I'll make a game. Only if you give me the money first. I'm never going to do that, because I think that becomes a dangerous game of you're gambling trust, and I don't think it's fair to do that with people. And there have been a lot of stories of people who make games or promise to make games using crowdfunding and things like that, and they disappear. It's really not fair to do that to people that you're sharing excitement with. And I want to share with you guys my reason for making games, and it's not to make tons and tons of money. My goal at the end of the day is not to gain popularity or to get attention or to have millions of dollars, because making games and being loud online and being a personality, you can make a lot of money, but when you reach that goal, it's a hollow goal, and when you reach that goal, there's nothing left, and you lose any drive to do anything. You can get attention online, and once you get it, what's the drive to do anything, And my goal has never been to do that. My goal is to come up with cool and interesting stories, interesting gameplay ideas that haven't been done before, and to make something that I can personally be excited about, and to share that with other people. And that's really my primary goal and objective, and that's why I'm going to keep developing the Silverfall series, and I'm going to keep working my absolute hardest to make it successful. And that's a goal that will never dry out. That's a goal that will always push me to be more creative and to come up with more interesting ideas and to try to come up with something even more fun than the last game. And I want to be able to share all these ideas that I have in my head, and I think, oh man, this game might be cool, or this might be a cool story arc for this character, this might be a cool progression. I get personally excited about those things, and I think it'd be cool to share this feeling with people around the world. And being able to do that is exciting, and I am starting to see that I am able to do that, and I'm so grateful to everyone, all the websites that are reviewing the game and talking about it, and all the people on social media that are telling other people about it. Thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful to you, and I promise that I will keep working my hardest. I'll keep producing these games. You guys have asked for more 3DS games, and because you've asked, I've promised to deliver them. You've already seen that I can deliver with the first game, 3 Down Stars, and I will absolutely deliver Undertaker's Lucid Nightmare and Deadly Shadows. We'll see where we go from there, because I would love to move forward onto the Switch. I have game concepts that I would like to make a bit more complex in terms of visuals and presentation. It's extremely difficult to work on the 3DS, and the tools that I work with hold me back in terms of how efficiently I can use my time and what I can produce in a short amount of time. But I won't break the promise that I've made about producing those games for the 3DS. I really would like to move on to Diamond Island, and there's another game that I'm working on for the Switch that, oh man, I'm so excited about this game. I really want to get to it. I haven't announced it or said anything about it yet. I'm going to wait until we have other games out. And if I have to keep working on the 3DS with the tools that are currently available to me, it's going to slow me down. It's going to make things extremely difficult. But if you guys ask for it, if you guys really want more 3DS games, let me know. Let other people know. Tell other people about 3 Down Stars. And if I can see that people around the world really are picking up these 3DS games, they really do want more, and you guys tell me, please, another 3DS game, I'll do it. It doesn't matter how difficult it is, how much of a frustration and difficulty it is to work with tools that maybe don't work in my favor. I'll do it if you guys are really passionate about getting more 3DS games in the Silverfall series. So I'll leave that off with that, and thank you guys very much for enjoying Silverfalls, and I look forward to sharing the free apps with you. That's my way of saying thank you to you guys, and I'm really looking forward to getting Undertakers out. I'm going to move straight into Lucid Nightmare, which again is a puzzle game.
I'm personally a huge fan of puzzle games. I grew up playing a lot of puzzle games, um, especially things like Bomberman, where you have a character that moves around the screen and things like that. Lucid Nightmare is a little bit. It's not a Bomberman, but it's one where you move your character around a space, and it's a puzzle game in a style that I've not sort of seen before, and that's my objective, is to try to create games that appeal to a sensibility of familiarity in terms of, oh man, I really like this kind of game, but I've not seen one quite like this one before. And so I'm actually really looking forward to working on Lucid Nightmare. It's hard to explain without showing you exactly what it is. So I'll leave it there for now. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate you. Let's all work together to make Silver Falls as successful as it can be. Hope I'll have some interesting news for you next week, and we'll see you in Silver Falls. Hey everyone, Drill here. This is gonna be a video that's kind of suck, I guess. So first of all, I just wanted to thank everyone for sticking with me and for supporting Silver Falls so far. But it's come to my attention that the update that rolled out, the version 1.1 that's been out for more than a month now, or whatever, is not the file that I sent to Nintendo. So leading up to submitting Silver Falls and sending it to Nintendo, it was an extremely difficult process, not just development-wise, but submission and dealing with Nintendo. And I believed that Nintendo wanted to keep supporting the 3DS, and they would support a developer who wanted to put games on the 3DS. And where I was expecting to find support, I only found resistance. I'm still having extremely severe issues with the development kit, and I'm not doing this to say anything negative about my professional partners and companies that I'm working with, but at some point you gotta stop and you've gotta be fair. And I'm working with using Unity, and I was promised a development kit that was fully featured and fully worked and would work the way it's supposed to on 3DS, and I was promised that, and there were issues with the development kit early on, and I was promised, oh yeah, okay, we'll fix that. Well, new versions of Unity 3DS kept rolling out, and there were stability issues, huge stability issues, and so a lot of my development for 3 Down Stars couldn't focus on developing the game. It was tearing down and rebuilding the entire game to avoid issues that I found with the development kit with Unity 3DS. And where I expected to get support, I got indifference and resistance, and it was very difficult working on that. And then I should have seen the signs months leading up to submitting Silver Falls and trying to get it to Nintendo that I was not receiving the support that you would expect to see if they really wanted new games on the 3DS. And people have been reporting glitches and issues that do not exist in the game that I sent to Nintendo. I submitted a game, I worked my ass off, and that's just, there's no two ways around it. As soon as the game launched, I've been working 125 hours a week nonstop, and I've been putting my head down and being humble and saying, I'll do the work, I'll fix it. And people are reporting game-breaking glitches and crashes and issues, and I'm thinking, I'm just exhausted, it's all my fault, I should have done better. Well, I'm investigating issues that people are reporting, and I'm trying to fix it, only to find out that those glitches and issues don't exist in what I sent to Nintendo, and I worked my ass off to try and fix this and make this game work, and what's being distributed has issues that are impossible. They are absolutely impossible in the work that I sent out to Nintendo. And you would look at that game and you would think, oh, it's broken. The person that made this clearly has no idea what they're doing because it's such a basic glitch or a crash. It's out of my control. I have no idea what is really happening in this situation, And to everyone that is experiencing issues that paid for a product, I apologize, and I'm sorry. I don't know what else I can do, because it's clear that hard work, perseverance, and dedication, right now, that doesn't matter. It's not enough. And I really have no idea what to do, because the game has negative reviews up online from reputable sources and people who have given the game a fair go, and I appreciate that, you know, and I thank those people for spending the time to play and review the game and to write up about it. But that game that's out is not what I submitted to Nintendo, and has issues that do not exist, that is basic stuff, crashes and glitches that shouldn't exist, and I'm thinking it's all my fault, I missed it. And I'm looking at my work and I'm saying, no, that can't happen, because it's so simple. How do you miss issues like that? How do you have a product that's so broken, almost as if you didn't test it at all? And I don't know what to do. And we're going to keep getting negative reviews, and we're going to get comment section in those reviews filled with negativity, and they're going to keep slamming the game and, you know, building an extremely, extremely negative reputation for the game. And the game is not selling. There are a lot of negative reviews and saying, oh, it's not worth it, don't buy this. And I've poured thousands of hours of my life into this, and I believed Nintendo would support me in getting the game selling so I can support their hardware. And that's not what is happening. And it's clear that Nintendo wants gamers to move on to the Switch. And I'm trying to pick my words very carefully here, but to me it's clear they did not want me putting a new game on the 3DS. I sacrificed a lot to, sorry. I sacrificed my whole life to bring... Sorry. I've sacrificed my whole life to bring a game to the 3DS that I thought people would enjoy. And I've worked my ass off, and I thought I can handle it, I can take it. And I'll just be tough, and I'll make it work, and it's gonna be great. And I did not expect that I gotta be careful with my words, but I didn't expect that Nintendo would go against me on trying to bring a game to the 3DS. And for our upcoming games, I don't know what's going to happen, because I'm still facing resistance. You know, the update, version 1.2, that's supposed to have fixed all the glitches in 1.1. Glitches that were not in the build that I sent them, that were somehow introduced when the product was rolled out digitally. 1.2 puts in so much work and effort and so many failsafes. It should fix so many things that don't exist in the build that I sent them. That was supposed to have rolled out weeks ago, and I don't understand why it's not out. And the longer that this broken version of the game is out, the more negative reviews we'll get, the more negative reputation the game will build. And it's just going to destroy the game's ability to sell. And that's tough. That's life. And if it was entirely within my hands, then I would say, yes, I'm sorry, that is my fault, I apologize, and I will do better. But the build that's being distributed is not what I sent them. And it's soul-crushing, and I have no control over the situation. I have no power to make things right. And it doesn't matter how much I persevere, it doesn't matter how hard I work. I'm a small indie developer, and I'm nobody. And I'm trying to bring a game out to a console that it's clear they don't want to support the 3DS anymore. They want to move forward, and it's time-consuming and it's resource-consuming for them to keep supporting the 3DS. So I don't know what to do next, and I'm sorry that I've announced all these games for the 3DS, because I believed Nintendo would support me, and I believed that
they wouldn't make it so difficult for me to bring games to the 3DS. But if I keep facing the same kind of resistance that I have been facing and I'm still facing, I can't. I cannot survive bringing more games to the 3DS because I'm having so much pressure put on me that I shouldn't have to face when developing and publishing a game. And I'm not trying to complain, I'm not trying to whine, because I want to do the work and I want to make this happen. But here's the long and the short of it. The game is being distributed. It's not what I submitted. It's not the hard work that I put in. The version of the game that's being distributed is broken. I've issued them weeks and weeks ago. More than a month ago. I've issued them an update that fixes those issues, and that's not rolled out, and it should have been rolled out already. And if the game doesn't sell, I lose everything. Not just in terms of developing this series, but everything I've sacrificed to make this first game and to work on the rest of the series. If 3 Down Stars doesn't sell, that's it. That's not just the end of Silver Falls, but I can't have a career as a game developer if this first game doesn't sell. And Nintendo doesn't care, because I'm nobody. I'm a small indie developer. I'm an insect. And to me, it matters a whole lot. And to the people in my life who are counting on me, it matters a whole lot. So to me, it means everything. And to them, I don't exist. And the 3DS, it's not important to them. And I have no way of moving forward if 3 Down Stars doesn't sell. And I suspect, with all the negative reviews and the negativity that's branching out of that, it won't sell. And the only way to move forward with that is to hope that when I issue them an update, it'll come out in a timely manner and it will be the working product that I sent them. And that hopefully we can get some positive reviews. And for the people who are enjoying the game and who are passionate about it, and that you guys go, in comment sections and reviews, and you let people know why you think it's worth playing and why you think it's worth supporting it. Because when you buy Silver Falls 3 Down Stars, you're not just supporting that one game, you're supporting the rest of the series and everything that I've planned. And I've tried to show you guys everything that I've planned for the series, and I'm going to work my hardest to make sure that it's something worth playing. But right now, 3 Down Stars has a reputation of garbage shovelware, and it's not the game that I submitted to Nintendo. So to everyone who did waste your time, I apologize and I'm sorry. It is entirely my fault that I believed that I could fight Nintendo and bring something to a console that they want to move away from. And that's my fault for thinking that I could fight that. And I don't know what to do next. And in terms of the future games on the 3DS, I don't know if I can do it. I've been putting in so much work, and I'm not receiving the support that I believe I should be getting to get these games published. And if I'm getting pushback, I can't survive trying to do more 3DS games, and I'm sorry. And I don't know if things will change if 3 Down Stars starts selling. But with the negative reputation it has online, that's... I don't know. Hey, thanks for checking in. This one was a bit of a bummer. I'll see you guys around. Hi everyone, Jarrell here. If we haven't met yet, I'm the developer of Silver Falls. Just wanted to give an update on the state of development. So we announced an update 1.4 that'll be coming for 3 Down Stars, thanks to all the support from everyone who's reporting in feedback and their experience. And thanks to everyone pitching in, we've been able to actually track down. I'd spent like a week trying to track down a bug that caused some projectile weapons that caused a game crash, and I was absolutely exhausted at that point. So after a week of going through that, I I just had to send the update to Nintendo before I could figure it out. Yeah, thanks to everyone's feedback, I was actually able to fix that. It took me about 30 seconds to fix after people sent in enough of their feedback. So thanks to everyone. I wanted to thank everyone for playing the game and who's bought a copy of the game and who's recommended it to people. I really wanted to thank you for that. And we're looking at hopefully Undertakers can be submitted soon, but with the global whoop-de-doo and all of that stuff, everything is pretty slow. Processes are very slow, and we're, have to be transparent and clear that 3 Down Stars hasn't really sold much more than a handful of copies. And why would a multi-billion-dollar company care about a small game that's only sold a handful of copies? So we're at the very bottom of the priority list, which means it makes things extremely difficult for me. And I don't expect 3 Down Stars to make any money on the 3DS. That was sort of a love letter to the console. I wanted to give fellow 3DS fans something, and I don't expect Undertakers to make a huge amount of money. It's going to be like $3 or $4 when it launches, but I just wanted to make enough to pay bills and then be able to get the Switch development kit and to move on. I haven't heard, haven't got any response. I've requested to be a Switch developer. I don't know if I'll ever hear back. I haven't got any confirmation. I haven't got a rejection. I haven't got a, hey, you'll hear from us soon. I haven't heard anything. It's impossible to make any money on the 3DS, and that's the only development kit I've got, so it doesn't matter if I work 140 hours a week trying to make a game for the 3DS. It's not going to make any money. That's just how it is. So it's extremely difficult. It's very, very depressing, especially now during quarantine and whatnot. I'm stuck literally staring at my computer screen every waking minute of the day. So I'm not having fun staring at a screen all day long. My eyeballs feel like rectangles. I'll try to have Undertakers out as soon as I can. I'll try to do the update for 3 Down Stars, but it's very depressing knowing that it doesn't matter how hard I work on all of this, it's not going to make any money. So I'm staring at a dead end, and I'm basically only doing this for the handful of fans that we have now. And I'm not belittling that. I'm so grateful for the fans that we have right now. You guys are awesome. You're the most incredible fan base I've ever seen for any game. But, the industry doesn't want to talk about a 3DS game. The industry and big multi-billion-dollar companies want to focus on their big machines, so why waste time on a 9-year-old machine and a no-name developer with a no-name IP? So I'm not going to get any help. The only help I've got is from the fans. I'm a solo developer. I do everything myself. I do the marketing, the publishing, and all of that by myself. And I just want to be transparent with you guys. I'm exhausted. I'm a bit depressed because I'm staring into a black empty tunnel and there's absolutely no light at the end of it. I don't even know what I should be doing next because it doesn't matter how much work I do for the 3DS. It's not going to earn money, and I don't even know if I can get a Switch development kit. I don't know if I'll ever hear back from them, if they'll just ignore me, or if I just sit on my hands and wait. I don't have a team, so I can't make a product that looks anywhere near acceptable for the new generation of consoles that are coming out. So I'm in a pretty bad position here, but that's life. That sucks. I chose to try to make games for Nintendo under the belief that they would support me, and I was told I would get support, but that's just how things work. So that sucks. I just wanted to thank everyone anyway for sticking with us. I don't know what to do next. With Silver Falls, I don't know. I can't go out and get a job right now, so I don't know how I'm going to make any money on the 3DS. Sorry guys, I don't know what to do. But thanks for all your support.
Thanks for sticking with me, and we'll catch you again sometime. Bye. Stay safe and healthy.